Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm super happy you made it here. My name is Almie. I am a yoga teacher, mystic, and forever student of this practice. And this space right here is where I love guiding people like you into deeper connection with your body, with your breath, energies, and heart. Today, I'm sharing a very special Yin Yoga workshop called Fold into Stillness, a Yin Yoga journey with Arjuna. This is a 60-minute journey through forward folds, floor postures, and a space where we can just soften, unravel, and release the pressure we often carry on and off the mat. Now, as most of you are already familiar, Yin is a deeply meditative, grounding practice where we hold postures for several minutes. Now, it's not about how flexible you are or achieving that perfect alignment. It's really about creating space. Space to listen, space to feel, and space to let go. Throughout this workshop, I will be sharing stories and teachings from the Bhagavad Gita, which is wisdom texts that have shaped my own personal practice and has helped me find the peace through stillness. Now, these aren't stories just of ancient times. They are incredibly relevant. They remind us of the strength, our purpose, the beauty of surrendering to the present moment. The practice in itself is for everybody. Whether you're tight, tired, burnt out, tenured, or even brand new to yoga, this space is yours. So grab your mat, grab a few props like a bolster or a pillow, or even a blanket for comfort. Let this be a gift to your nervous system, to your breath, and to the parts of you that just want to exhale. So again, thank you for showing up for yourself, showing up for your practice. Now let's fold into stillness together. I'll see you on the mat. Welcome back. Now, before we get started, I'd like for everyone to come to a comfortable seated position, Sukhasana, easy seat. And it's simply a crisscross applesauce, right? So as we're sitting here, I want you guys to start feeling your sit bones beneath you. And if it's comfortable to, have your ankles on top of your thighs, be my guest. Listen to your body. But if it's, if your ankles aren't feeling it today, you can just simply have them come one in front of the other, kind of your heel to heel. But what we want to accomplish here is just, being in a position where shoulders are relaxed, you're feeling grounded, rocking back and forth, feeling the mat beneath you, finding your sit bones. And we're just here, and we'll be here in Sukhasana for a good portion of the first part of our workshop. I talked about the Bhagavad Gita and this journey with Arjuna. And you may ask, who's Arjuna and why does he matter in yoga? And, the Bhagavad Gita is one of yoga's most sacred texts. And at the heart of that story is Arjuna. He is a warrior prince. He's super strong, he's noble, and he's trained to fight. And one day in battle, and right before it, it was at the start of the battle, something unexpected happens. He's looking out into the field and realizes he's being asked to fight against his own family. He looks out, he sees his brothers, his cousins, his uncles, his father, his grandfather, his friends, his mentors, people he loves. And suddenly he breaks down, his body starts to shake, his heart starts to race. And he pretty much drops his bow and says, I'm done. I can't do this. I don't know how I'm going to do this. And I don't know what's right anymore. And that, right, that specific moment, that is the moment that matters. Because sitting beside Arjuna is Krishna, his spiritual guide, a divine form of God. And the Gita is pretty much a sacred conversation between Arjuna and Krishna. And it's about many, many questions that Arjuna is asking. And these are the same ones that we all ask ourselves. Why am I here? What is my path? How do I keep going when I feel lost or scared? And we are all Arjuna at different points in our lives. We will always face moments of doubt, heartbreak, uncertainty. And when we start to feel frozen, right, we between of what's in our head, what we should do, and then also what our heart feels. There's that struggle, right? We all have been there at some point in our lives. And so that's why the Gita is such the story in itself is so timeless, because it reminds us that yoga isn't just about postures on the mat. Yoga is the practice of staying present when everything feels like it's falling apart. Or when it's going well, right? There's almost like the yin and the yang. It's learning about showing up. It may not be perfect every single time, but showing up fully. Showing up with honesty and showing up with courage. So when we step onto the mat, especially in a slow and quiet practice like yin, we're really not escaping the hard stuff. We're giving ourselves space to feel it, to breathe through it, and even hear the answers that we're needing to hear. So as we're here in our Sukhasana, which is our easy seat, this is going to be an exercise. What we're going to do right now is just really focus on activating our energy locks. And our energy locks is going to help us with our bandhas, right? Our bandhas are what we're going to work on today is going to help us forward fold, not easier, but with a lot more ease, and just opening up the space. The two energy locks that we're going to work on are the Mula Bandha and the Uddiyana Bandha. So for the Mula Bandha, it's almost like Kegels, right? You guys are familiar with Kegel exercises. So once, go ahead and do a couple Kegels, and when you're holding it at the top, it's kind of like you're holding, I gotta go to the bathroom, that feeling. So that is activating our Mula Bandha. Then from the Mula Bandha, we're gonna rise up into our Uddiyana Bandha, which is kind of just this area here. Right below your ribs. So it's almost like you're trying to suck it in all the way, right? Where you can see your ribs, right? So that is if you kind of do that a couple times, you can feel what it's like. You can feel like you're trying to put on some tight jeans. Yeah, that's what that is, right? And so by doing that, by activating the Mula and the Uddiyana bandhas, it allows us to, again, create the space that we need so that we can move with our hips, we can forward fold with ease. And so with that, I want us to we're going to do a couple of breathing exercises right now, just so that you can kind of get a feel of what it feels like to activate it and for your body to just really get into it. So in your seat, close your eyes And then just allow your hands to fall wherever they are. Let's take a deep inhale here through our nose. And then open mouth exhale, just release all the breath, emptying out your lungs, sealing your lips, continuing the breath through your nose as we inhale here. And then exhale. And then on the for the remainder of our breath, just all through, inhale, exhale through your nose. As you inhale here, start to activate your Mula Bandha. And keep it at the top. Keep it engaged. Continue your breath at your own pace. I just want you to sit and feel what it's like, what your body, the sensation that is happening. And then on that next inhale, continue to activate and keep your Mula Bandha engaged and start to activate your Uddiyana Bandha. It can just be a subtle activation, but I want you to feel as you inhale what it feels like in your body. Start to imagine your body opening up as you engage. Your bandha is starting to warm up. And continue with that. Again, focused on your breath. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. And to continue on with the story, Arjuna sees the battlefield, right? He sees familiar faces. He comes to a point where he can't move, right? And that is the embodiment of emotional paralysis. It's when fear, grief, guilt, or even confusion, it becomes so overwhelming that even your body starts to respond. You feel frozen, weak. You can't think clearly, you can't act, and you're unsure of who you are, what's right, what's wrong. And, the Gita and then yoga also, our practice today, that is not a sign of weakness, right? It's a deeply human moment of truth. Arjuna's body is reacting to the emotional weight of the situation that feels like impossible. And it is in that space of total vulnerability, that's where the spiritual teaching begins. And we too, as humans, right? It's just part of life. We can also get exhausted and feel overwhelmed and maybe heartbroken, right? Sometimes that prevents us from taking the next step. And just like Arjuna, those are the moments that are not the end of the story. They are the turning point. It's when we begin to soften, as you guys are feeling now. When we ask for help. And when we breathe into the discomfort, that's where the transformation begins. So as we continue with our breath here, as you inhale, gently lift up, feel your Mula Bandha lifting. As you exhale, engage your Uddiyana Bandha, drawing your belly in. And just let your breath lift you. Trust your breath. And let your bandhas support you. And just like Arjuna, it's okay to pause, be honest about how you feel. And as we take our last couple breaths here, this is the moment for you guys to really check in, right? What feels overwhelming right now? And like I said earlier, this is, we can learn from Arjuna. It's okay to stop and just be. And when you're ready, blink open your eyes. And we begin. Okay. How did that feel?
I think I had cramps. Here.
Oh.
No, I had painful sensations at the back.
In the back.
But lifting my ribs, it's affecting my back.
Yeah, I know what you're talking, like right here, it's like the muscle. And it's almost at that point, it's like, okay, that's your edge, I've learned over the years where if a tinge of pain starts to come on, and this is the same for everyone else out there too, is stop. Like, that's the edge. I don't go any further. Your practice should never be painful. It should never be a point where it's like, oh my gosh, right? It should be a point of, whoa, that's kind of uncomfortable, but I can power through it. And it's a good discomfort feeling, if that makes sense. So, awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys got to, how did that change your breathing as you were doing your, activating the different bandhas?
It felt like easier to breathe because I'm focusing on like reaching for my ribs to come up, and so as we do more of that, it gets easier. And when I felt the painful sensation on my back, that's when I realized this is my edge.
Yeah.
And then I can now breathe freely without me feeling the pain, because I know there's pain if I breathe more.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. And it's good that you were able to recognize that too. Like, that's enough for me. Very cool. VL.
Yeah, I like the breathing. It's like, is this really how I breathe regularly? But I'm thinking, I can only hold my breath up to a certain extent because of my asthma. And then it feels so good when you release everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like I've always, when I teach and, when we practice, it's always a good reminder of, and that's the reason why I do the reminder of, we want to move and breathe with intention, right? Move and breathe with purpose, and really take the time to not just go through the motion, right? We can all go through the motion, but it's one thing to actually go through the postures, go through the breathing, the meditation, and really be in it, right? Recognizing how, like you felt, wow, I can breathe much, much deeper, right? And that's because you're intentional with your breath. Like, we recognize it. And breath in itself is something, if you think about it, super magical. It happens whether we want it or not, right? It is just a natural thing. And we don't control it, right? So it's something that we don't normally think about. But when you get into a point where it's like, my breath, your breath will always be there, and your breath is also there to help you regulate, right? Whether it's stress, joy, happiness, sadness, scared, or, you know, getting dropped off in the wrong place, right? So it's, you know, our breath is always there. So we are going to get started into our postures. So there are 4 postures that we are going to focus on today. First one is going to be Paschimottanasana, which is caterpillar. Second one is our half butterfly, which is the Pavrita Yanu Shirshasana. Third would be our dragonfly Upavista Konasana. And then our last one is our reclined hamstring pull or stretch, Supta Pandangastasana. So we're going to get started with our first one, which is caterpillar, Paschimottanasana. All right, Paschimottanasana, caterpillar. So to set this up, we're going to show 2 different variations, and there's no right or wrong to this. It's however your body is feeling today. So do whatever feels good for you. So grab a bolster if you have one, or a blanket, or even a pillow, and we'll get started. So to start off, let's move into Dandasana, so bringing your legs out in front of you. And as you're here, pointing your toes up to the sky and just getting a feel of what that feels like in your body, how it feels alongside your calves, your legs. How does your toes feel? How does the arch of your foot feel as you do that? Before we go into any folds, let's take a moment here to take some breaths, activate our Mula and Uddiyana bandhas. So as we inhale, activating our Mula bandha, and as you exhale, your Uddiyana bandha, while still maintaining your Mula bandha, continue your breath. And just allow your body to just be with it. So we'll have Cheryl go first. So Cheryl, let's inhale here, hands up overhead. Let's take a breath. As you inhale, you're lengthening your spine. And as you exhale, forward fold. Letting your head grow heavy. Continuing your breath. And as you activate your Mula bandha, your Uddiyana bandha, take notice of how that helps you lengthen your spine, open up space. And with VL, she has her blanket under her knees to give her legs some support. And it also brings her legs up closer. You may want to use a bolster or not, but just depending on how you're feeling today. So VL, let's inhale, hands up overhead, activating your bandhas, Mula bandha. As you exhale, your Uddiyana bandha. Do a couple more of those. And on that next exhale, slowly forward fold over. And allow the micro movements to happen. Allow your breath allowing it to guide you. And to go back to our story about Arjuna, Krishna, one of the things that Krishna tells Arjuna in his moment of, I don't know what to do, Krishna tells him is that you have the right to your actions, but not the fruits of those actions. And how it's related to Paschimottanasana is that, in this posture, in where you're at today, it is a gesture of letting go. And it is the teaching about non-attachment, not to life, not to people or the effort, but to the result of our effort. Arjuna, earlier on in the story, was just super paralyzed. Like he just, with so much worry, with so much doubt of what might happen if he fights and what happens if he doesn't fight. And Krishna reminds him that, do what's right, but release the need to control the outcome. Let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose. Open mouth, exhale. One more cleansing breath here. Open mouth, exhale. And maybe in this next few minutes, we allow our breath and our bandhas to help us open up even more space. Moving towards your edge. Paschimottanasana invites us to give up the need, right, to get somewhere. With every breath, you can lengthen your spine. You breathe deeply, you engage your bandhas. And you know what? You still may not touch your toes, and that is totally okay. The shape in itself teaches us to just soften into uncertainty, to let the posture unfold over time, and to trust that showing up is enough. And this is true on the mat and in life. We can't predict what we'll receive, but we can always choose, right? Choices, that is within our control. We can choose to stay present, offer our energy honestly, and just simply letting go of the need to look a certain way. Whether you're in a forward fold like VL, that is perfect. That is perfect for you. Or if you're in a forward fold like Cheryl, that is also perfect. Neither one is superior to the other. And the value is just showing up and not the result. Let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose. Open mouth, exhale. And on this next inhale, let's rise up slowly and gently. How did that feel? Different?
Yeah. When I went up, it's like my spine and my neck, there's a clacking sound. What's that sound?
Like they're stretching.
Yeah, it's lagutok.
Mm.
What's I don't know that in English. But it
You
felt-
lengthen,
yeah,
like
it
you grew
felt
taller.
Like it's lubricating itself because it's
Yeah.
because of the crack, like lubricates
Yeah, it
itself.
cracked
Yeah.
here, and it felt good.
Good.
Yeah.
Because I managed to fold deeper.
Mm.
So when I went up, it felt good.
It felt
Why do
good.
you think that was? Do you think it was because you are opening
Yeah.
up more?
And when I was breathing in, I was allowing my tummy to go up, and then breathing down, exhaling, I was able to really extend some more and fold my tummy some more. It felt good.
Oh, that's amazing.
Before I couldn't even reach here,
Mm.
only until here right now. Ah!
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it.
And before this one would be like a hindrance, like oh, it's not allowing me to forward fold because of the breathing, allowing your bandhas to be activated and engaged. It's even easier to fold compared to before where you're like, okay, hide so we can fold.
Yeah.
Now with breathing, it's naturally hiding itself and letting
Yeah.
you. It's actually helping you fold
Yeah.
instead of
That's opening up space. And that's what, again, once we start to really move mindfully, move with intention, and move with purpose, when we start to really recognize how our posture may change, how the pose, like how much easier it is to get into it, or just allowing your body to feel, right? That is the essence of why we do this, right? So that we can learn, we can grow, and be a better version of whatever it is, right? So, yay. And I hope you all at home have experienced the same thing. Next up, we have half butterfly, or Pavrita Yanu Shirshasana. So with this to set up, again, we're going to have two variations. So for those at home, again, no right or wrong, just follow what your body is feeling. So we're going to start in Dandasana again. Legs extended out. And then we'll do our breath and our bandha activation. So you guys know the drill. As you inhale, activating your Mula Bandha, kind of like that Kegel. And as you exhale, activating our Uddiyana Bandha, as if you're sucking everything in. And then on that next inhale, let's bring our left foot in, our right inner thigh, and then widening out our right leg just a skosh. Go wherever your hips allow you to go with comfort. And there are a couple variations here to help bring things closer to you as you forward fold. You can sit on a blanket to bring you up a little bit more so you have much more room to forward fold, just like VL. And then also you can have a bolster ready beside you. You may use it, placing it over your extended leg. Again, bringing things closer for you to forward fold on. But again, do what feels good, experiment, do it with the bolster, do it without, and see what feels good for you and what you're able to sustain. So let's inhale here, in through our nose, out through our mouth. On that next inhale, lift your arms up overhead, reaching for the ceiling. And as you inhale here, let's continue to lengthen your spine, activate your Mula Bandha. turn your torso to the right over your right leg that's extended. Inhale here, hands up, extend, lengthen your spine as you exhale, forward fold. Taking your time and moving along with your breath. Now, we had talked about how overwhelmed Arjuna was feeling. He was overwhelmed with self-doubt. He wasn't sure if he was strong enough to go to battle. His body was shutting down. His heart was feeling heavy and was pretty much questioning everything. You know, Krishna comes in and, you know, with compassion and with clarity, tells him that you are more than just your body. You're more than just this fear. And there are moments in life and in practice when we feel like we're not enough. Sometimes we can feel we're not flexible enough. I feel that sometimes, if not a lot of the times. Sometimes we feel we're not strong enough. And that could be physically, emotionally, mentally. We can also feel we are not healed enough. But Krishna reminds us that we are not just our bodies. We're just not our fears, our feelings. We are something deeper, more timeless, more whole. Every time we show up to breathe, every time we show up to listen, to soften, even with our doubt, we honor that deep part of ourselves. Let's inhale here through our nose. Open mouth, exhale. As we inhale here, lift up, stand up, or not stand up, but lift up. You know what I'm talking about. Come up slowly, gently. Just being kind to your body. Now we need the balance, so we're going to switch sides. So extending that bent leg and bringing the other leg in. And again, just taking our time, no need to rush. And when we're ready, let's get our breaths prepared, our bandhas activated. So let's inhale here through our nose, Mula Bandha in mind. Exhale through your mouth, Uddiyana Bandha in mind. On this next inhale, we lift and bring our hands up overhead. Take a cleansing breath here, lengthening our spine. Twisting our torso over our extended leg. One more inhale here. And then exhale, forward fold slowly and gently, creating space. And acknowledging any sensations, any difference from one side to another. Now as you inhale here, activating your Mula Bandha. Feel your spine lift. Feel it extend. Then as you exhale your Uddiyana Bandha, feel as it supports you, as it supports your forward fold, as it creates and opens up that space for you to perhaps go deeper if your body allows. Let the bandhas that you activate be your internal compass, rooted and rising. Each side tells a different story, so don't rush it, don't judge it, just let it be. Because we all have sides of ourselves that we avoid. It could be the tightness, it could be the doubt, insecurity. And what Pavrita Yanu Shirshasana, what it teaches us is that it teaches us to meet both sides with compassion. Let's take a cleansing breath here, in through our nose, open mouth, exhale. On that next inhale, slowly rise up, taking your time, being gentle with your body. Extend out our legs. We give our knees a little bit of a shuffle here. Get some movement in, wiggle our toes. And feedback. How does your body feel, and what did you feel one side from another?
No, it's really not equal, right? It's easier to fold on the other side compared to the other side. And I don't know if it's something to do with me being a lefty, but it's easier for me to fold with my left foot bended compared to my right one side. So yeah. But
Yeah, I didn't use the bolster on my left because I felt like I could go deeper.
yeah.
Now, how did it feel being on the blanket? Do you feel like that helped?
It's easy. It was easier for me to fold deeper because
Yes.
maybe.
Yeah, you're up higher,
yeah.
and again, it's about creating space, right?
And then again, the breathing also helps.
The bandhas.
Yeah, activating the bandhas. Like I feel I'm more conscious now when doing forward folds to activate them so that I can fold better.
Yeah. And it goes back to the effort, as you guys, hopefully you guys at home are feeling the same. It's about the effort, right? It's not how you look at the end, the outcome, right? It's being detached from, ideally in your mind, you're like, that's what Yanu or Pavrita Yanu Shirshasana should look like. This is what half butterfly should look like. And it's that imagery of coming all the way down, all the way flat. No bolsters, no blankets, like this is what it should be. Sometimes we get obsessed with those outcomes where it really is the effort, right? And you guys both got to experience the effort of activating bandhas, right? It's, you're getting in tuned with your body, you're getting into your body, and that definitely helps with it's the quality now of you being in that posture. And while there's still discomfort, you're still learning, right? You're still growing and, finding and realizing what your truths are, right? So, yay. So now we are going to move on to Upavista Konasana, which is dragonfly. All right, well, next up is Upavista Konasana, dragonfly. And to set up for this, you may want to stagger a little bit here. So maybe, or actually, no, you don't have to stagger. Let's just face the window. Because we're gonna need, the long parts of our mats. So And then maybe they'll come down just a little bit, so giving each other some space. And for this one, again, the use of blankets, bolsters, props, anything that makes the posture accessible to your body is definitely okay. So what we're going to do with Upavista Konasana, we are going to bring our legs wide open. And again, go to where your body allows. Your toes pointing up to the sky. And again, feeling your sit bones beneath you. Continue with your breath as you inhale here through your nose. And then open mouth, exhale. Sealing your lips and allowing your breath just through your nose. Take notice of your breath. On that next inhale, activate your Mula Bandha. And as you exhale, your Uddiyana Bandha. And then on that next inhale, bring our hands up overhead. And then as you exhale, slowly forward fold. And here you may just be on your forearms. That's okay. If you want to bring a bolster to help support you, feel free to bring that bolster in front of you. Just straddling it. Continue with your forward fold. Now, Krishna reminds us and reminds Arjuna that dharma is, his dharma is his sacred duty, and it's not going to be easy, but it is his. And Arjuna badly wants to just give up. He wants to retreat. He wants to just be done with it. And he's just confused, right? But Krishna continues to remind him, it's not about doing what's easy, right? If we look at this posture, you're probably feeling a lot of sensation in your hamstrings, possibly in your lower back. You may be feeling it in your calves, maybe feeling it in your hips, right? But it should never be painful. Challenging, yes, maybe. But allowing our breath, allowing your breath to help guide you, allowing your bandhas to create space. And, going back to the story, it's about doing what you're called to do, when we're, specifically to dharma. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And dharma is really, it's our purpose, right? It's not a job title. It's not an achievement. It's not a medal. It's not an award, trophy. It's actually, dharma it's the energy we're here to share. And we don't always get to choose what that looks like, but we do get to choose to meet it fully as we are here in this posture, Upavista Konasana. You know, the shape is a mirror. Can you stay open to this path that you're on, even when it challenges you? Let the bandhas help support you and guide you, even as you open wide. And on this next inhale, perhaps you bring your arms out to your ankles, or maybe it's to your shins, and then working your way down to ankles, to your toes. Maybe you're grasping your feet. Again, not forcing the movement, recognizing the sensations. And again, the breath. Your breath is powerful. It's magical. And you combine that with the activation of your bandhas, your mula bandhas, your uddiyana bandha. Sometimes purpose it can feel unclear, it can feel scary. And this wide open posture helps us confront and face it. Let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose. Open mouth, exhale. As you take this next inhale, slowly rise up, taking your time. And just staying where you're at. You know, bring your legs forward in front of you, being gentle, taking your time, just being slow. Then maybe a windshield wiper, your knees, your legs. So how did that feel for everybody?
It felt so good. I was able to reach my toes.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah, whenever we do folds, you usually tell me to do micro bend so I could reach lower, I could reach my toes. But now I was able to reach my toes with my knees straight.
Why do you think that is? Like what's different in your practice?
I think I was more focused because the breathing, it calmed me down and it really helped me go deeper so I could reach farther. Yeah, I think it's the breathing.
Hey. Cheryl?
And you're not, I feel that I'm not conscious on what I look like.
Yes.
I'm more focused on my breathing, like what Bill mentioned. Instead of like watching like others going forward fold, I'm now more focused on how to breathe properly and activating my bandhas so I can fold better and calmly and more relaxed and more natural compared to before, like fold.
Yeah, because it is really your practice, right? Like it's your practice alone. So it's going to look different from VL's. It's going to look different from someone else's. And it should be that way all the time. Like it's always focused on you. And that's why when we're in the studio, especially when there's only a few of us, I have us face the mirror. So we can just focus on ourselves, right? Because when we're doing, facing each other, it's like you can't help but see the person in front of you. So it does make a difference when you can just kind of get out of your head and that notion of that's what I should look like to how I look like in this posture is perfect, right? So, yay! Well, hope you guys again at home are, having some revelations, newfound kind of like, whoa, I can do that now by just activating my Mula Bandha, or using props, right? Props are here to help make the posture, a lot of these postures, more accessible, but it's also there to help you. Right? It's these props are here to help support you. So, all right. So our last posture is our Supta Pandungasana, reclined hamstring. And so with this, again, I'm gonna show and just demonstrate two different variations, and both are perfectly right and perfectly okay. So let's get started. So we are going to lay flat on our backs, feet extended. You can use a blanket below your head for a little bit of comfort. Just going to extend our legs to keep them together. Yes. And let's take a deep breath here, in through our nose, out through our mouth. So the first variation of Supta Pandangustasana would be, so of course it's a reclined hamstring stretch. Let's bend our right knee. And let's lift our left leg up. And then you may grab your inner thigh for support, or the back of your knee. So this is one accessible way, depending on how your body feels. Now, from here, go ahead and extend that bent leg. Bring it down to the mat. This will give you a little bit more of that hamstring stretch. You can continue to hold the back of your thigh, the back of your knee. And again, just breathing into it. Even though we're not doing a full forward fold here, you can still practice activating your bandhas, your Mula Bandha, your Uddiyana Bandha. Perhaps that opens up space for you to bring that leg closer, maybe closer to your chest, driving it towards your chest. But keeping that leg that is upright, straight, pointing your toes towards the ceiling. You may close your eyes as you just continue to breathe through this posture. Krishna says discipline is the path to freedom. And without action, there's really no progress. In other words, show up anyway. Show up no matter how you're feeling. Whatever your mind is telling you, it's just show up, right? Freedom in itself doesn't come from avoiding difficulty. Growth doesn't come from that either. It comes from doing the work, especially the quiet, steady work that no one sees. Discipline in yoga isn't about rigidity. It's about devotion. It's choosing to show up with consistency, even when the progress seems and feels slow or invisible. Let's inhale here, in through our nose. Open mouth, exhale. And then on that next inhale, slowly release your leg, lowering it down slowly, taking your time, extending it out. And just taking a moment here, cleansing breath in through our nose. Open mouth, exhale. And of course, we need to find the balance as we move to the other side. So bending our left leg, foot on the ground. Yep. And then with our right, we slowly raise it up, grabbing hold of it behind the thigh or behind the knee, whatever's comfortable for you. Take a breath here, in through our nose. Open mouth, exhale. Now sealing your lips, closing your eyes, continue to breathe. And when you're ready, and if it's in the practice on this side of your body, go ahead and extend the other leg out. Continue with your breath. As you inhale, feel your Ula Bandha lift. And as you exhale, feel the Uddiyana Bandha, feel it in your leg. Feel it in your leg, further extending. And as you're here, let the legs just be steady. Let the breath be soft. Let the core waken up. Now, the shape itself, it's quite simple, but it does ask for consistency. And just like the daily work of just showing up in life, it does remind us that progress doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be steady. Recognize any difference in the sensations you may be feeling. Let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose. Open mouth, exhale. On that next inhale, slowly release your leg. Let it fall forward, extending it to meet the other leg on the mat. Let's roll over to our right, move into that fetal position. And when you're ready, using your hands for support and some guidance, let's come up to our Sukhasana, our easy seat. So how was that?
I thought it was just a simple, lifting your leg. But when you're holding it, it's challenging.
I felt here.
It's challenging.
It's uncomfortable, but it also felt nice at the same time. Well, you pull it closer, and then you exhale, and then you can feel it go closer to you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Love it, love it. And again, it's like, when we, it's a journey, right? Yoga in itself, our practice, it is a journey. And so once we, it's like these bits and pieces of, wow, bandhas. Bandhas are amazing. It helps open up space. It creates space. And you're now realizing it helps our breath, right? This is another way of just being intentional with our breath and recognizing as we inhale, right? You're inhaling, you're engaging your mula bandha, and you're like, whoa, I can feel that, right? It's no longer just inhaling, your lungs getting bigger. And then as you exhale your Uddiyana bandha, right? You feel you're exhaling, but it's like, whoa, I'm creating more space. And so I hope you guys, and you guys at home too, take it with you across all your classes, right? So what else? And you mentioned that it's just a hamstring stretch, right?
Yeah.
But when you're holding it, it's, yeah.
It's getting harder to like hold it. But when you breathe, it's actually gonna help you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
It's different now because before when we're doing it, it's like you're just lifting it up, and then now that we've learned about the bandha, it's nice to do it, and it really feels good.
It's natural, like
Yeah.
it feels natural compared
It's
to
like you're
just
not forcing anything.
and like before it feels like we're just stretching it. We're just stretching the hamstring. But now it's different. Like it's not just the hamstring, it's like an overall
Experience. Yeah. You're growing. It's the growth.
I think it's just the day that I realized what it meant to move with intention.
Yeah. I'm glad even though
What I've been doing. I
That's
started
okay.
early this year. It's already half the year.
And you know what I love is that you're speaking the truth.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, that is your truth of, oh, Almie has always said, move with intention. Okay. But now you get, took you a little bit, took us to do the workshop, but it's...
You've been telling us to breathe, right?
Yeah.
And then now, what's the difference?
Yeah. So awesome. Well, I'm glad that is helpful. Anything else?
Masakit din, it's also painful.
Yeah.
Lower back.
Lower back.
But it's not uncomfortable.
Yeah, not,
Okay.
not uncomfortable.
So keep your other leg raised, bent.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So because when you do that, it's like you're extending not just your leg, right? You're also, there's like this motion here. It's like, think about like being in a forward fold when you're standing.
It's like
Yeah.
reverse.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're only doing one leg at a time. So, yeah. Well, awesome. Okay. Well, now for our final and our most favorite posture, Savasana. Laying flat on our backs, using our blanket to support our head and our necks, palms facing up, and bringing your legs out to the width of your mat, letting your feet fall however they fall, taking notice of your breath, neither fast or slow. And just feel the rise and fall of your chest, your tummies, your ribs as you breathe in and out. Maybe as your eyes are closed, in this gaze, gazing up into your third eye, right between your eyebrows. And just having that be your focal point. Nothing more, nothing less. And then continuing with your breath. Now with Arjuna, the battlefield, Krishna, doubt, fear, reflection, after all of that, Arjuna finally says, you know what, I'm good. I'm no longer confused. I know what I was born to do. I am ready. So as you're here in Savasana, let's still activate and look at our energy locks, our bandhas. So as you're inhaling, gently lift your Mula Bandha. And as you exhale, engage your Uddiyana Bandha, then soften and release the effort. Allow your body to just settle fully. There's no effort. The work is done and the wisdom has settled. You've met yourself. You've met who you are. You've softened. And more importantly, you remember who you are. And in Savasana, this is where we get to integrate it all. The effort, the stillness, the questions. And like Arjuna, we rest not in defeat. We rest, but in readiness. And this is the space, Savasana, this is the space where clarity can finally arise. And like Arjuna, you stood at the edge of something big. You stayed around, you softened, you listened, and you really made space for the truth beneath all of the noise that's happening. And again, yoga isn't about how far you fold in, how far you reach out. It's about how present you are willing to be. And when you start to quiet the mind and allow your heart to speak openly and to speak with truth, and that in itself is the gift of yin. And that is the lesson of the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita. Let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose. And then open mouth, exhale. One more time in through our nose. Open mouth, exhale. One last time in through our nose. And then open mouth, exhale. Start to wiggle out your toes, your fingers. Get some movement in your knees, maybe just a light little shuffle. Rocking your neck side to side. Slowly waking it up, coming back to the present. Maybe bringing your shoulders up and down, kind of just little circles coming up, yeah. And this time coming over to the left side body. In a little fetal position. And simply taking your time when you're ready, pushing your way up into our Sukhasana. Well, that is the conclusion of our workshop and our class today, which was Fold into Stillness, a Yin Yoga journey with Arjuna. Thank you all for joining me today, allowing me to share this space with you. Until we meet again, don't forget to like and subscribe by clicking the buttons below. Thank you.